So just the other week, I was invited to a pre-screening at the movie theaters. And as I was sitting there munching on overpriced popcorn, I realized that I haven't been to the movies at all this year. Which for someone who spent a majority of his earnings as a teenager on movies, this was a wild realization. This brought me down into a deep rabbit hole on why today's Hollywood seems to be in a slow decline, at least compared to when I was growing up. It just doesn't hit the same. And even when we dive into the numbers, it seems like this year or 2025's domestic box office earnings might be in store for a negative growth. And if that does become the case, 2024 and 2025 would become the third ever 2-year decline for Hollywood. The other two periods being the pandemic years of 2019 and 2020 and 2010 and 2011, which barely counts because 2010 was near break even. So for the past week, I've done a bunch of research, and here's all the reasons why I believe Hollywood and movie theaters just don't seem to hit the same as when we were growing up. And for a quick disclaimer, we'll be purely discussing domestic or American box office and movies, mainly because I have no clue about how things are in other countries, because yes, I am just another dumb American. So the first thing I wanted to discuss is what seems to be the slow monopoly that is Disney. I feel like it's no surprise to anyone here that Disney is just everywhere. I mean, even from when we grew up, Disney had a huge impact on almost all forms of media, but especially now. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like they have their hands in almost anything I ever watch now. With them owning Pixar, 20th Century Studios, FX, Lucasfilms, Marvel, Hulu, ESPN, and my God, so many more things that I didn't even know until I started doing research on this. It seems like Mickey's little greedy hands are literally in everything. And this brings up so many other problems because with a lack of true competition, quality usually dips. And that's in any category when it comes to capitalistic markets. Shout out to my Economics 101 professor. Maybe I actually did learn something in college. And one other negative side of Disney just owning everything is how a lot of times in their media, it seems like there's a lot of forced politics. It seems like Disney tries so hard to push their agendas in their content, and instead of making realistic depictions of diversity and complex topics, they do it in purely the most lazy ways.
Not our fault, it's because of Kathleen Kennedy. But then Kathleen Kennedy says like, F it, make it more lame. No, please, Kathleen Kennedy, stop ruining everything. But Kathleen Kennedy is all like, put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more f***ing lame. And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down. And then Bob Iger is all like, no, what's going on with my stocks? No, Kathleen Kennedy.
And I'll give you guys an example. I'll never forget when I was in the theaters watching Marvel Avengers Endgame, and the movie was amazing. One of the last great Marvel movies. But there was this scene, and you guys all know what I'm talking about. The scene where they just push the whole women. And I love women-led media. Like, one of my favorite animes is Free Rent. But that was such a great form of writing a woman character versus just forcing like everything on everyone, like that scene in Avengers where they're all just like, yeah, women. It was so like cringy. And I feel like everybody watching this will understand what I'm talking about. I mean, there's a huge difference when you're watching something that is very realistic and empowering in the way that they wrote it. Whenever you're watching any form of media and they just force some agenda down and it's just not realistic is when it becomes some cringy AF stuff. Anyways, I digress. So speaking of this dip in quality, let's start talking about the laziness that is the constant sequels, live action remakes, and reboots. And although this isn't just Disney that's doing this, Disney is one of the biggest contributors of this problem. Disney alone has released over 20 live action remakes, most of which being in this last decade. And again, they aren't the only studio that dipped their toes in remakes like that of DreamWorks with How to Train Your Dragon, but at least that one did well. They kept the same director and they kept the same message too. But beyond just remakes though, let's talk about the constant reboots and unnecessary sequels. It seems like everything we're watching is something we watched as a kid. And I get the whole nostalgia factor. Yeah, that's cool, that's fun, but it's very gimmicky. I'm tired of that, and as someone who genuinely loves movies, I want to watch something new and original. That's why movies like Fresh, Sinners, and things like that, where it comes out and I'm like, whoa, you know what? That was fun because it wasn't like everything else. Hell, even Barbieheimer was awesome. That was a great weekend for movies. So let's talk about the reboots. It seems like every single day there's a new reboot announcement of a movie that no one has asked for. I mean, just in the last 2 decades, there's been 4 Batmans, 3 Supermans, and 3 Spider-Mans in the big screen. They're even rebooting Harry Potter. Like, that was already a great piece of work. Why reboot it? Move on. Do another story. Continue with the story even. Or just like do a spin-off. Anything, please. Just something original. But even then, let's talk about the sequels. It seems like if it's not a live action remake or a reboot, it's more than likely gonna be a sequel. It's something we've seen again. And a lot of them are so unnecessary. And I'm gonna leave this clip because I feel like Quentin Tarantino kind of explains it best.
I am a big fan of the Toy Story trilogy. In the case of Toy Story, the third one is just magnificent. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. But the thing is, 3 years later or something, they did a fourth, and I have no desire to see it.
Right.
You literally ended the story as perfect as you could. So no, I don't care if it's good. I'm done.
But even beyond just Toy Story, there was that newer trilogy in Star Wars that, in my opinion, was super mid. And like, hey, don't shoot the messenger. This is just my opinions and thoughts. I thought it was just not the same as the rest of the content. And I mean, the story, it just wasn't all that great to me. I mean, just last year alone, all of the top 10 grossing movies were remakes, reboots, or sequels. It just seems like Hollywood is lacking original ideas or creative movies that challenge cinematography as a whole. And sure, there are some originals that were made these past 2 years. I'm not gonna discredit those, but they usually seem like they're buried by all the lackluster conglomerates. I mean, I kind of miss the days that the best and biggest movies were all new. I mean, remember when Avatar came out? We were all like, whoa! The next thing I want to touch on, which is also unsurprisingly connected to Disney, is the issue that is the whole superhero fatigue. It's not a hot topic to say that superhero movies have ruled the last decade and a half of Hollywood box office and their revenue, but when you milk anything too long, it usually runs dry. A lot can be said about the quality of superhero movies dipping as a whole, like that of the Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe being just hot garbage. But even when you're looking at more recently liked films, you can still see the steadily decline in the movie's interest and then also the return on investment. And it just shows that casual watchers outside of the core fan base are just getting tired of seeing the same type of concepts over and over. I mean, I watched Thunderbolts, and don't get me wrong, Thunderbolts was actually a good movie compared to every single other movie in Phase 4 with the exception of like 1 or 2. Thunderbolts was pretty good, but still, it just didn't feel that original. It just felt like another superhero movie just slapped on with a new skin. Now, outside of that, another reason I think modern Hollywood is declining that a lot of people aren't talking about is that of the decline of true comedy and horror movies. As an avid fan of comedy movies, I mean, that was my favorite genre growing up. I remember going to the movies to see how controversial this movie really was. Like I remember when Tropic Thunder was raising headlines for Robert Downey Jr.'s blackface. And I also remember Borat becoming such a success that they banned the movie in Kazakhstan. And like movies like that were such great successes because they weren't afraid to push the boundaries of comedy. Very nice. Like, I missed that movie. And like, you can't make movies like Tropic Thunder and Borat in today's climate. People are just too soft, and some of that can be good, but like with movies, it's just not the same now. I cannot watch a comedy movie nowadays and be like, wow, that was amazing. Hell, it seems like the last truly funny movie that I've seen in the movie theaters was that of Hangover 2, and that was in 2011. And I'm sure there was other good comedy movies, but I know that like after that 2010 to 2013 span, that was kind of the last truly great comedy movie era. It just seems like Hollywood is just too afraid of cancel culture and the woke atmosphere to challenge the world with truly funny movies. Because we all know the funniest movies are the ones that make us really uncomfortable. I just wish that more studios was willing to push the boundaries of pushing out movies that would actually challenge things. I mean, just look at South Park's success. South Park's not afraid to push boundaries, and they're always on headlines, always making somebody angry, but they're still doing it, and they're still a great show, in my opinion. And then let's also touch on horror movies. It just doesn't seem like there has been any truly scary or original horror movie in these past few years, with an exception of a few, of course. The last amazing horror movie that I remembered seeing in theaters was Midsommar, and that was in 2019. Oh, and also Talk to Me in 2022. And to be honest, I can't tell if this is due to just a lack of interest in generating these type of movies, or if it's just a lack of ideas. But it's a true shame because some of the most profitable movies are comedies and horror due to their budgets being just so low. It's so much much less costly to produce horror and comedies versus these big blockbuster action dramas. And now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Another reason that Hollywood is obviously failing is that of streaming services. It's no secret that streaming services are playing a huge role on their downfall. Not only can people skip the theaters to just watch things in the comfort of their homes, but there's also plenty of amazing original content on these platforms too that just beat out theater hype. Another huge reason why theaters specifically are failing is something that is not a surprise to anyone, and it's kind of the cherry on top, and that is the crazy theater prices. If we keep pricing things higher and higher, less people will just go because they're just not interested in paying that much. And that doesn't even address the crazy drink and food prices in these theaters. Like, imagine deciding to go to the movie theaters where you're probably gonna have to watch a sequel, a remake, or a reboot again. But also, you have to pay an arm and a leg just to watch it. I mean, no wonder everybody's like sneaking in snacks and stuff because literally a date night to the movies can be anywhere from like 40 to like 80 to even $100+ if you're going into one of those fancy theaters. I would think that the best idea for these movie theaters is to do combo specials and discounted ticket days, which I know that some theaters already do, but like maybe advertise that more to kind of fill out the seats. I feel like that's kind of the goal, right? And like, why would anyone pay $15 to $20 a person and $10 to $20 for a drink and a snack when Netflix is $18 a month and then food prices is whatever the grocery store has? So in conclusion, these are just some of the many reasons that I believe that modern Hollywood is on a slow decline compared to when we were growing up. And all in all, as a lover of cinema, I really hope that Hollywood and theaters figure things out, because I genuinely miss the feeling of going to the movies and feeling super hyped about a movie. I mean, like the early Marvel days, Barbieheimer even. That was a great movie weekend. And I know there's plenty of other reasons on why Hollywood is failing. You guys let me know in the comment section down below if I missed anything, or if you guys want to add any other reasons why you guys believe that Hollywood just doesn't hit the same. And then if you guys know any possible solution, let me know in the comment section. It's really interesting for me to kind of learn as a lover of movies. Yeah, this is just a topic that's been bothering me because I really wish we were back in an era where I just would want to actually watch movies again. I mean, I think the only movie this year that I'm actually looking forward and probably gonna go to the movie theaters to watch is the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie. None of these American productions have really gotten me hyped up enough to go to the movies to watch. I'm just like, I'll just wait until the streams. But yeah, maybe I'm part of the problem. But anyways, guys, let's hope that movies get better. Yeah, I love you guys so much. Let me know any other video essay topics that you guys want me to dive into. I got a couple other ones cooked up. I'm really excited to add this to the repertoire that is my channel. I love you guys so much. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe if you guys want to see more content like this. Also hit the notification bell so you guys can see whenever I upload next. We also have a Discord for anyone who is interested in that. Link in the description box. You guys can kind of chat along with us. Yeah, I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.